Enhance. Enhance.
Enemy spotted.
Exit detected. Friends, welcome back to the Brave New Way Show. My name's Christian. Oh, like the jacket? It's fake Bodie. The brand's called Bodie Miller. It's the Olympic skier. He's the guy who invented it. And I bought it on a new platform that I just started called Graileds. It's Grailed with a Z. And it's like the original Grail, only, the original sell price, the original seller fee. I think I wanted to make a short video talking about Graileds increasing its seller fee because you guys have been asking for it, and I give the fans what they want, especially when it's easy content like me just talking in front of a camera. So I wanted to make this video in part because I am actually working on a resale video that I hope will come out next week. I just wanted to jump on this. It seemed like easy content, you know what I'm saying. In the middle of August, Grailed increased their seller fee from around 6% to around 9%. And the first question is that really a high price? Well, all things considered, other platforms have kind of hovered around that price for a while, like Depop, eBay kind of. eBay's got all sorts of fees. A lot of reseller websites have essentially taken 9% and then using PayPal takes around 1%, and the whole 10% feeling like calling it even. But people have been kind of outraged at Grailed. They're like, grr, you increased the price and you're not even putting in the things that we want. And frankly, not to brag or nothing, I've got a little experience reselling items online, so I'm going to throw my 2 cents in, my 2 cents, 2 cent Johnny. First off, Grailed doesn't have all the tools that other platforms do, like eBay. And frankly, if you are a professional reseller, that kind of lack of tools can be cumbersome and annoying. Like, eBay makes it a lot easier to make a lot of listings that are very similar, to manage a large group of listings. Grailed really, for the most part, is designed for more casual resellers. Those are how the tools are built out, and in essence, it was born out of a desire to just have niche menswear market that was easier to use than eBay, in essence. And also, the fact there's no vacation mode is a thumbs down right now. So some people are kind of upset that Grailed it's increasing the seller fee, and the new features that it's promising don't seem to be the new features that people really want. Right off the bat, is 10% a lot? 10% is kind of in line with the rest of the resellers. And honestly, it's on the lower side. The question you gotta ask yourself is selling things on Grailed worth the 10%? Do you even know the answer, dummy? Hey, dummy, do you even know the answer? Because the way that I see it is this. When I was reselling professionally, when the resale, the seller fee made a huge difference. If you're selling a lot of items, if you're bringing in thousands of dollars a month, 10%, 20%, 30%, that makes a huge difference in terms of your ultimate bottom line. So definitely increasing it by 3% is going to hurt the people who are selling a lot of items on Grailed. But what do you get with Grailed? Well, let me tell you this. You get a sort of peace of mind that you are not going to get if it's just on your website or through Instagram. And it's a marketplace that is kind of cultivated around these specific niche items. When I was reselling pieces, Grailed definitely was where I saw the most people interested in the really cool menswear. But often an item that I thought would totally sell on Grailed would sell on eBay. It's just a much bigger market, and a lot more people know about eBay, even people who are really into menswear. What kind of protections do you get? Let's say you're pissed off, you're like, I'm gonna take all my items and sell them on my own website. I'm gonna make it right now and advertise it on Instagram. Well, the first thing you gotta consider is this. In reality, with selling items online, it is not really buyer beware, it's seller beware. If you are using PayPal as your basically bank, your transaction device, PayPal is almost always going to favor the buyer instead of the seller. Essentially, if you buy something with PayPal, you can almost always return it, especially if it's like something you bought on Grailed or eBay. PayPal is just so much more lenient with giving the buyer the chance to get a refund or return the item. And I have first-hand experience where I would describe an item perfectly. I would give a picture of the label, I would give measurements, I would do everything, and I would still have to return an item when somebody said it didn't fit. And I've had some surreal phone conversations with PayPal explaining how frustrating it is that I have to return an item even though I gave everything for the person to understand how it would fit. So I know for a fact that PayPal, for one, is always going to benefit the buyer. The other thing is this. If you are selling luxury pieces online, there is a lot of credit card fraud. If you have like a Shopify store and you're selling designer items, you're going to get people like maybe every week who's trying to buy an item with a stolen credit card. And at the end of the day, it's not the person who got their credit card stolen who's going to have the biggest issue. They're just going to call their bank, the bank's going to refund it. The person who stole the credit card, the police don't really go after that kind of thing. They don't care. They're going to get a luxury item. At the end of the day, you're going to be screwed. You're going to lose the money that you got, and you're going to lose the item. The fact that Grailed and these other platforms are basically going to ensure that your transaction is secure and you're like at no fault is a lot of peace of mind. Duh. And like just losing one item can really suck in terms of how much money you're going to bring in a month. If you lose $1,000 item because you thought the transaction was secure and everything seems all right, but then you get a chargeback, I would much rather just lose 10% than one big item because that's what people are going to go after. But in all honesty, changing the seller fee can really suck. I remember when I was reselling pieces, I used Tradesy a lot. Maybe you guys don't even know what Tradesy is. Maybe you think like, oh, I've never heard of that one. And that's an interesting point I want to get to. Tradesy at one point changed their seller fee from something that was already pretty high to like 20 or 25%. And this was super frustrating for me because I sold a lot of luxury or designer handbags on Tradesy. There's an older user base there that feels a lot more comfortable buying a used Givenchy bag on Tradesy than eBay. So I knew I had to continue to use that platform because I would just sell more bags. And the hit that I took with a reseller fee was just, ultimately when I tried to calculate the difference, it's like, well, I still got to use this platform. And it was frustrating because at the end of the day, I didn't feel like as a seller I was getting tools that really benefited me. But that's not what Tradesy was concerned about. All of their tools were designed around ensuring that the buyer got what they wanted. And that's where a lot of the money goes in these things, is ensuring that the buyers are secure because that is what's going to lead to the growth of your platform. And ultimately, 10% is on the lower side. Like I said, Tradesy's at 20%. Let me look at some others that I wrote down. Poshmark is 20%. And if you consider the RealReal, which is technically a consigner, that's like 30 to 50%. Some of these websites, you will list your items, but they will like put them on sale. They will increase their commission based on how much the item sells for. They can be really dastardly. And at the end of the day, a lot of the times, they just care about their buyers. And now, if you're in the group of people who are like, what even is Tradesy? Is that like a little tiny brand? Well, it is kind of small, but I bet that it's probably bigger than Grailed. At the end of the day, Grailed is very well known in our community, but in all likelihood, one of the smallest players in this resale space. The RealReal, which has been rocketing in terms of profitability and the money they're bringing in, went public like a few months ago. They are likely becoming one of the biggest platforms. Grailed primarily only focuses on men's high fashion. They do have heroin, but Grailed is really what their big platform. And in a lot of ways, and I'm speculating, guys. I don't really know, but this is my speculation. I speculate that Grailed probably grew a lot when it first launched and has been kind of stagnant in growth ever since. I think our community basically jumped on Grailed, and once our community figured out about it, it's been like stagnant growth, you know? It's probably new users every day, month, whatever, but it's probably only the new users who are learning about streetwear or high fashion right now. It's not like they are bringing in a bunch of people into the fold. And at the end of the day, women's wear still sells a lot more than men's wear. So these other platforms like Poshmark or like Tradesy or even like Depop, they are bigger than Grailed by a significant margin. And there are still like a bunch of like young reseller brands out there, new websites that are trying to make inroads. So Grailed isn't necessarily the smallest, but I bet the situation is this. They're having a hard time growing their platform because in essence, they've already monopolized this community, but Grailed really only appeals to this community. They need to pay, and right now, they basically are probably thinking, geez Louise, we have all these investors who gave us millions of dollars to launch this platform and grow it, and we're kind of at a brick wall in terms of how it can grow. They need to bring in more money or transform the platform in a specific way where it expands their reach, where it's not just like, hey, are you obsessed with Archive Raf Simons? It's more than that. It has to be a platform that basically brings a lot of people in. And I think in all likelihood, in order for Grailed to continue to grow, which every startup, every young brand, every internet brand likely has the obligation to continue to grow, Grailed will likely transform its real target demographic. It might still be the go-to place for archive fashion pieces or whatever, but in all likelihood, I imagine they will start to advertise more towards like they're about style, not fashion. Or they will try to pull more people in because I think they're obligated to do so. As much as that might suck and you might be like, oh, they're letting us down, they're like being traitors or whatever. I think that's a reality of economics and what it means to be a young startup. They likely have big investors who gave them a lot of money and expect them to grow at X amount so that the investor money will pay off. So those investors get their money's worth, basically. And Grailed, in all likelihood, has been relatively stagnant for maybe a few years. Increasing their fee by like 3% probably is at least a lifeline that they were probably planning on doing for a while in order to increase revenue. All they did was increase their seller fee to about the same as the other platforms that have the lower seller fees. Whether or not 10% essentially versus 7% is worth it is your question, you know? To me, it is worth it. I don't want to deal with fraud. I want a platform that is specifically engineered for these specific garments and this demographic. That's great for me. And I'll take the 10% hit compared to like an extra 3%, even if I'm considering I'm selling a lot of garments and I'm trying to make a lot of money from it. But guys, let me know what you think down below. If there was something I missed about the seller fee change, yell at me in the comments. At the end of the day, if you're only selling a few items on Grailed, like 10 items, 20 items, I don't really think this matters to you that much. Maybe you feel like it does, but at the end of the day, it really matters to the people who are selling like hundreds of items. They are the ones who need to consider whether or not this platform has the tools, the security, and the audience that really makes it worth it. And I think they're going to look at their spreadsheets and go, what kind of sales do I get from Grailed? How will this affect my sales and my ultimate revenue? and whether or not it's going to be worth it for me to pivot onto a different platform or essentially just cross Grailed out of my listings. So if you are a professional reseller, let me know what you think, because, I'd like to know what you guys are thinking right now. I would be thinking that if I still did that. So, And anyways, another resale guide is coming out soon. I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.